Hello, my Juicy Co-Creators. Lilu here from beautiful, magnificent Phoenix.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm so good, and I so appreciate being here with you.
Yes, and this is such a crucial conversation right now to have around money.
Yes.
And bringing money and spirituality together. This is about time. I think, there's a lot of things to talk about today, and this is very juicy, and this is part of living a juicy life.
Absolutely.
And you wrote the book, The Money Keys. The Keys, Unlocking Peace, Freedom, and Real Financial Power.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that. So how do you view money?
I view money more as a neutral substance than a thing that we don't have enough of that we have to go out and get. And I will tell you, for many people, your conscious manifestors, your spiritual seekers, just making a shift to how you think about money can be very powerful. Because when we think about money as something that has control over us, or it's just for certain kinds of people, then we feel a sense of lack and separation, which is the antithesis of a spiritual, juicy life.
So how can we reconnect with that? How can we view it? How should it be viewed? What is your description of money and wealth?
I would invite people to think about money as just a tool, a symbol of exchange, communication, a vehicle for really living. So if you think about it, it's not so much about the money, it's about what's the money for in your life. I think about money more like language or technology. I mean, it can be used to communicate something very high and very inspiring, or something very mundane, but we don't blame the communication. We don't consider it a negative thing. We realize it's neutral, it's our use of it. So that's the beginning, is like, if you can understand that money is inherently neutral, and the meaning that we make about money is very powerful, that's a way to start to feel empowered.
So do we need to start by healing ourselves?
I think healing ourselves, and also, people get stuck with money in three areas: our spirituality, our beliefs, and our habits. And the spiritual area is separation, and that's what I call scarcity. It's the sense of lack and not enough. So the healing there, and this is for the spiritual seeker out there, the healing is to bring money into your spiritual practice. Don't leave it separate. Don't have your meditation practice over here, and then what you do to make money is something separate. Bring them together.
So how do you do that?
I think you do it by several ways. One is you infuse your spiritual practice with the content of the issues in your money life. So if you've got a real estate investment that is up for healing, you can literally bring the papers themselves onto your meditation cushion. And then it's in the other direction as well. You can take your idea of spiritual connection, like playing beautiful, inspiring music while you pay your bills. So you bring the two things together.
So what does money like? What would you say? Do you see money as energy, or does money like some things, like spiritual practices, from what you're saying?
Well, it's just, if you think about it, just like anything that we want to have a healthy relationship with, that if we infuse, we're the ones who make money be a friend to us, a piece of energy that we want to contribute and circulate. So really, the idea is we're the ones who infuse the money with what it means. Because I think even saying, like, I have to go and get some more and I have to be a certain way in order to attract some more, still has a separate. Instead, it's like the money is a magnification of who I am. And here's the thing. If people are, listening to your series and connected to your work, probably we're doing better than somewhere between 20 to 40 to 60% of the planet, in terms of we've got access to the internet and clean water and a safe place to sleep tonight. And just by realizing that, people start to feel a sense of gratitude and empowerment. So that, I think abundance is really about being peaceful regardless of how markets go up and down, because markets go up and down, and the rich lover can leave and the bestseller can fade. And here we are in the beautiful Southwest in the United States, and real estate prices have gone up and they are going down. But your peace of mind, your connection to spiritual source, can be really strong despite all of that.
How can we boost our, not spiritual ego, but how can we boost our energy and our relationship to money? How can we see that we really deserve it and we're valuable on the planet, regardless of our job, regardless of what we think, is less than something else?
Yes, that's such a good question, is how do we see ourselves? That's the area of our beliefs about money. And so I would say it's moving our thought, our emotion, and our conversation about money matters from being a victim into being a collaborator. So whenever we have any sense of resentment or guilt about ourselves or about other things that we did in the past, we really need to forgive ourselves and to move on, to release the judgments. So I will tell you, if you've got a big story that the rich are greedy and they should be punished and the poor are needy and they should be pitied, those kinds of stories don't put us in the frame of mind to really be powerful partners in abundant collaboration.
So that's where there's a spiritual healing to really reconnect the two.
Yes.
Because there's always this disconnect. There's a lot of people that don't see those two worlds collaborating, or, I'm either spiritual or I have money. But
Yes.
people that have money are not.
And I will tell you, that's a judgment.
Yeah.
It's a judgment. It's not, it's not a reality. And the other thing is benchmark yourself. So there's probably somewhere in your life, where you're already really connected to the material world. Like, you bless your food and you really understand that what you eat, yes, it's material, it's of this world, but it is a sacred practice. Or you feel that way about nature or about your animal companions or the body. If you feel that way about some aspect of material living, you can build that for yourself around how you circulate your money.
And it's possible to make a great living for what we love the most or from our spiritual practice. A lot of people feel like having jobs that are related to that and really participating in the awakening of the planet.
Absolutely.
There's a spot, there's enough for all of us.
There really is. There is absolutely enough for all of us. And each person is a center of the prosperity, the grace, the love, the supply of the divine. And there's nothing withheld from us. Really, that's the truth of really our destiny about well-being and contribution. Now, I have to tell you the third area, because sometimes spiritual people will miss it. And the third area is your habits, so your behaviors with money. And the principle here, it's the law of circulation. So you have to be a generous giver in order to be a gracious receiver. Both are really important. And for many people, the thing to give is give your attention. So your financial well-being will not grow by ignoring it. You got to pay attention. And so for a lot of people, just making, I call it Money Mondays. And we've got people on Facebook who come together every Monday and they say, I'm grateful for this, in my money life. Here are the deposits I made this week. Here's the places where I'm spiritually giving. Here's the intention I have for the week. And it's really powerful. Like, you can make that a sacred but an active practice. So it's not just mystically imagining well-being and then not doing any action. You have to get into the action as well.
There's a lot of people that also make money as an excuse to go into the spiritual journey and doing their life purpose. What would you say to them?
You mean make an excuse
I don't have the money, so I cannot pursue my life purpose, or I didn't inherit money, so therefore or I didn't this or that.
I would say your life purpose and your destiny and the magnificence that's within you, it's an eternal, invisible quality. You do not have to wait for your circumstances to line up or your body to be in a perfect situation or to have the right lover or the right environment for you to be the qualities that you're called to be. So if you're supposed to be visionary and inspiring, do that right where you are. It would be the same thing, like, you've interviewed wonderful people who are experts on relationship. It's not like, well, I'll be generous and kind when he or she comes along. Come on, you want to be those things now. And that's the same when it comes to, making your contribution to the world. Your life purpose is about a state of being that you express, and if you can't express it here and now, better circumstances won't really be able to help you express it. Am I being too tough, or?
This is awesome. This is juicy. Tell us how the universe supports us when we're really truly following our path.
The universe is always supporting us, just by nature of us being here. My background is ministry as well as business and success, and what I know is that each one of us is an expression of divine, and that means we're made in its image and likeness, which means we're already supplied with power, we already have access to information, we already have all of the inherent energy and creativity that's necessary. So all of those things are already present for us and as us. And it is really for us to choose to express those things. So really, I would say to everyone who's connected to juicy living and wants to express it through your money, is that be the magnificence that you are, and truly incorporate that into the financial flows and activities of your life now. And then what you get is you get those keys. You get the peace, the creativity, the freedom, the joy, the order now. And you don't have to wait until there's a certain number of digits on the computer screen. You can have that now.
A lot of people say that you have to love money, but some people go all the way to worshiping money. So I guess there's that fine balance, right?
Absolutely.
Where do you put your attention and all that? Because you can be too much focus kills it.
Well, and too much focus on the material channel will kill anything. So if you just focused on the size 6, you know, in the US that people want, or the certain kind of lover, or getting a certain type of outcome, if you just focused on the outcome and you lost the energy and the quality of it, it would always have an emptiness for you. So I would say realize that the symbol of the money represents something magnificent, and put the two together and be focused and be involved and be specific if it's a certain number of clients or a certain kind of reach that you want. And, you know, your prayer can be this and something better, you know, not being limited to just a certain kind of form.
What are the practices, other tools that you have, or practices that you recommend on a daily basis? Or?
Daily basis, I would say there's 12 tools that we teach with the money keys. I'll pull out the 3 that I think are essential.
Yeah.
Number 1 is a practice of gratitude. And I know many people have said that because it's a powerful practice.
Be great.
The first thing you do is you give 100% thanks for what you do have. So that's number 1 is gratitude. Another important practice is forgiveness. So a lot of people are carrying that money guilt from the past.
Mistakes or what we inherit from parents.
Judgment.
Judgments, yeah.
And I will tell you, when you have that kind of unforgiveness and resentment, you're not in the access to the creativity. And think about it, how many of the themes that you've heard have so much been about there's tremendous opportunity in our world today, but we have to access our creativity. So forgiveness, which is the release of self-judgment, that's a key practice. And the final one is an action practice, which is blessing. Make your financial behaviors not a burden, but a blessing. Make them sacred, make them conscious, make them consistent. Don't ignore them. They're as important as your physical yoga is your money yoga.
So how do you bless them?
When you're paying your bills, you want to be thinking, I'm blessing the spiritual source behind the channels that this is contributing to me, and realizing that this is a circulation that's the flow of the all good. So when I am physically writing the check or doing it online, I am bestowing a sacred energy upon what I give and also upon what I receive.
So you infuse everything with the divine, don't you?
I do. Well, it's already there.
Yeah, it's already there, but you're conscious of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wonderful. How we hear a lot these days about prosperous partnership. Like that's really important now, to co-create and share and be in the union and communion with people. How do you describe that new kind of partnership that is emerging?
That's such an important question. Our money relationships are really important. In many ways, for building, if you want to build a greater consciousness about what's possible, you want to look at I think there's 3 kinds of people that are on your money team. There are the models, which often are people from the past. So the family modeling, you know, the past employers, the past experiences. Then there's also your mirrors, which are the people that you're with today. And often it's said, and we have an exercise in chapter 7 called the top 10 list. And you take a look at the top 10 people you invest your time with. Who do you hang out with? And you take a look at what's their net worth, what's their attitude about money, you know, what are they creating in their lives? Not because you want to tell your cousin you can't hang out with her because of her FICO score or something like that. It's not to be negative, but you do want to see if there's nobody in my life who has a financial life I want to mirror, then I probably need to be listening to videos like this, and I need to be connecting with people who can lift me up. And then the final area for the partnerships you want to have is your mentors. It's really important to be learning, whether it's content about investing or marketing or building your business, or also learning in terms of spiritual practices. You always want to be in a state where you're being mentored to the next level.
So, and in a business relationship, how do you recommend to do this partnership? Is that changing too?
I would say yes. One of the ideas in the business partnership is the idea of, if you think about the interconnectedness, you can't really, there is no, I can't even think of the words, cheating another person. Like I got this price over here that they're going to suffer. You see, in an interconnected world, there really is no such thing. If we cheat the other, we cheat ourselves because of our connectedness. So in many ways, the partnerships that you're discovering are people reflecting back to each other the natural unity, which says, even if it's a short sale, or even if it's a big business dissolution, or even if it's a situation that's a divorce or something that's difficult, there still can be this idea of the highest and best for all involved. Like there's a number, there's a deal, there's a configuration that can really be a blessing to all parties.
What would you recommend to people watching right now to live this juicy life?
Yes, to live a juicy life with money.
Yeah.
The number one thing that I would really want people to leave with is to remember that you're the meaning maker in your money life. So money is a neutral substance. The meaning about money is very powerful, and you are the meaning maker. And really what that means is that money is a tool, a vehicle, a symbol for bringing the best in who we are into life. And I would just say to people that a juicy life is a life that integrates money rather than rejects it or has it be a problem. And really, these beautiful, conscious co-creators that are connected to you are individuals who not only deserve to have lives that are really divinely inspired and fully funded, but it's entirely possible.
That's it, my juicy co-creators. What another amazing conversation. So nice meeting you, Karen.
Oh, it was really wonderful. I so appreciate you.
Much love from Phoenix, my beautiful. Bye. Awesome.
Great.
Talk about today, and this is very juicy, and this is part of living a juicy life.
Absolutely.
And you wrote the book, The Money Keys, The Keys, Unlocking Peace, Freedom, and Real Financial Power.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that. So how do you view money?
I view money more as a neutral substance than a thing that we don't have enough of that we have to go out and get. And I will tell you, for many people, your conscious manifestors, your spiritual seekers, just making a shift to how you think about money can be very powerful. Because when we think about money as something that has control over us, or it's just for certain kinds of people, then we feel a sense of lack and separation, which is the antithesis of a spiritual, juicy life.
So how can we reconnect with that? How can we view it? How should it be viewed? What is your description of money and wealth?
I would invite people to think about money as just a tool, a symbol of exchange, communication, a vehicle for really living. So if you think about it, it's not so much about the money, it's about what's the money for in your life. I think about money more like language or technology. I mean, it can be used to communicate something very high and very inspiring, or something very mundane, but we don't blame the communication. We don't consider it a negative thing. We realize it's neutral, it's our use of it. So that's the beginning, is like, if you can understand that money is inherently neutral, and the meaning that we make about money is very powerful, that's a way to start to feel empowered.
So do we need to start by healing ourselves?
I think healing ourselves.
Hello, my juicy co-creators. Lilu here from beautiful, magnificent Phoenix.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm so good, and I so appreciate being here with you.
Yes, and this is such a crucial conversation right now to have around money.
Yes.
And bringing money and spirituality together. This is about time. I think there's a lot of things to talk